What's up, everybody? It's your favorite real estate investor, Mychael Anderson with Let's Get Paid. And today, man, we're going to do a little Q&A. So over the last few weeks, I've been getting an influx of questions from, hey, man, how do you do your deals? Hey, what are some things you wish you would have known? Just a lot of questions, right? So I'm going to pick certain questions from the ones that I've gotten over the last couple of weeks. And we're going to go through them, and I'm going to give you an insight of what was going through Mike's head when he made certain decisions, whether it be a deal or whether it be when I made the decision to actually become a real estate investor. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope it is of value to you. So here we go. All right, so we'll go with the first question. So someone asked me, why did you choose to be on the investor side of real estate? Okay. Yeah, so why did I choose the investor avenue side of real estate? One of the reasons I chose the investor side was for the freedom. As an investor, yes, it's more risky, but the reward is freedom, right? Also, we don't do this to not make money, right? We do this because we do want to make some decent money. And I just felt, based off my research, that the bulk of the money was made on the investing side of real estate than it would have been on such the realtor side of real estate. So yeah, that was the reason why I chose to be an investor and navigate the investor avenue of real estate instead of the realtor side. Next question was, why didn't you get your real estate? No, do you have your real estate license? And if not, why not? No, I do not have my real estate license. I don't have my real estate license because it doesn't necessarily benefit me to have my real estate license. In the state of Texas, and I'm sure across the country, you can invest in real estate without having a license. What you need is the information. You need the expertise and the knowledge to be able to execute those real estate transactions, but that knowledge does not come from getting a real estate license. Now, if you want to be a licensed realtor and legally sell homes in your market, then yes, you do have to get a real estate license. But they have different, I can either hire a realtor, or I can go through a third party to list my properties, or I can privately sell them. And all three of those don't require me to have a real estate license. I don't talk down on real estate licenses. If you are a real estate investor and you think it's advantageous for your business model for you to go get a real estate license, then by all means. It's just, it didn't make sense for what it is that I'm doing. It would have been an opportunity cost. I would have wasted that time doing that when I could have been putting that time into my actual investment campaign. So yeah, no, I do not have a real estate license. Reason being, it just wasn't fit for my style of real estate investing. Next was, how do you decide what type of properties to market? Well, this is the answer to this is really easy. We have a niche, right? I could sit here and say, oh, we target distressed properties. Yes, that's true. But we specifically target foreclosure properties. Whether those properties are in distress or if they're not. We more target, outside of the home, we more target the homeowner, right? So that is more of our approach when it comes to how do we find our properties or what properties we decide to market. We don't necessarily market the properties, we market the homeowners, because we are assisting the homeowners in helping them navigate the foreclosure process. In turn, the product is the real estate, is the property. So when we market that homeowner, if we are able to sit down and work with that homeowner, a lot of times in turn it's us purchasing the house to be able to help them with the actual foreclosure. So to answer that question, yes, my niche is foreclosures. I market foreclosures. Next was, knowing what you know now, if you were to start over, what would be some things you would do different? I think some things I would do different I would develop a niche before I actually got into real estate investing. When I got into real estate investing, I was almost a jack of all trades. I was trying to wholesale. I was trying to get into the FHA where I get a duplex, live on one side, rent out the other. I was trying to get into I was trying to do everything, right? So my energy was all over until, I got connected with Let's Get Paid, and we were able to get a niche. And once I was able to own in on a niche and just master that, that's when I start really seeing the progress in my real estate investing. So if I were to do it all over again, I would pick a niche from jump and put my energy into that and master that and take it from there. What did you do to set yourself up financially to be successful in real estate? Okay, there's a couple different angles I can attack that question from. For one, you're probably asking, okay, how did I set myself up to make that leap financially? Based on money set aside, saved, etc. Now, I'm sure that you've heard of, they say, have 6 months of savings, of expenses set aside, and then a nice little chunk in your checking. Well, I just made sure I had a year's worth of saving. I made sure I could maintain my lifestyle for at least a year so that I could focus on the real estate without the stress of having to make money. Because if when you get into investing of any sort, the money is not, that gratification is not instant. It takes some time to build. So that's one thing that I did know. I had to build a pipeline for deals to start flowing and actually start getting compensated from what I was doing. So I had to make sure during that time that I could still maintain my livelihood. So that's one thing I did. As far as after I got into real estate investing and I started closing deals and making profit events, what I did to set myself up to be successful is I didn't spend anything. I put that money that I made right back into the business. I think that's the biggest thing. When you do this, you'll get some big checks. When you get those big checks, you have to remain disciplined. Okay, you can't go out there and start buying all these chains and cars and stuff that depreciate in value. You need to put that money back into the business so that that business can grow. And then after a few years, okay, you can start cutting yourself a little salary. But yeah, that first bit of grind, man, you got to take that money that you make and you got to put it back in your business if you truly want your business to grow. Now, if you're just trying to get a quick couple of bucks, off of this, then I wouldn't necessarily call that a business. You just made a couple of plays, right? And you do what you want with it. But if you're really trying to build a sustainable business, yeah, you need to save that money and then reinvest that money back into your company, into your business so that, your real estate business can grow and build. Okay, next was, what were some of the emotions you went through when making the transition from full-time employee to full-time real estate investor? Oh man, every emotion. You go through every emotion, man, from start to finish, from actually making up your mind that, hey, this is what I'm going to do, to doing it, and then after you do it. Because it's like, you have this excitement, what I'm saying? Once you make your mind up, you're excited. You're like, yeah, man, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna be a real estate investor, and I made my mind up. I'm leaving my job. I think I've set things up the way they need to be set up, so I'll be successful. You're excited. And then you leave, and then that excitement kind of wears down, and you're like, oh shit. You're like, okay, now it all depends on what I do, so I really have to get to work. So you got those wave of emotions, and then you actually start putting that first foot forward and going through the motions of doing what you need to do, and things don't happen how you want them to happen. You run into some roadblocks, some things that may slow you up, some things that you did not expect. So man, frustration, being anxious, upset sometimes, every emotion, man, every emotion, because you're doing this, right, while still maintaining your life. You got things outside of the business aspect that you're dealing with, but everything comes into play with that. So when I was making that transition, it was a lot of that playing through my head. I think my biggest emotion was the sustainability. And when, I'm doing this, I'm making this leap, right, into being a full-time real estate investor. Am I going to be able to sustain, right? That's the biggest it's the biggest emotion, because you're unsure, right? But you just got to get out there and you got to do it. You're going to go through a bunch of emotions. It's part of the game. It's part of the process. Okay, so the thing is just being able to control those emotions and stick to the script, right? Staying in your lane, doing what you said you were going to do, and not allowing those emotions to have control over you. Okay, so I'd say those are the emotions and the feelings that I went through when I was making that transition from full-time employee to full-time investor. Okay, last question. This is a good one. So they ask, how do you get your deals? If you want to know how I get my deals, I'm going to give you guys something real good. This is what I want you to do. I want you to go to www.letsgetpaid.com, and I want you to fill out the free registration form for the webinar. Come to the webinar, join our team, or if you're outside of the Dallas-Fort Worth market, buy some of the training content that we have, and that will tell you how I get my deals and how we get our deals. Okay, that's not something that I can just dish out to you right there. But if you genuinely want to know, you genuinely know how Mike gets his deals, how the Let's Get Paid program get our deals, visit letsgetpaid.com. Register with us. We do a free webinar where we give you a full insight of our business model and what it is that we do. We've just launched to where if you are outside of the DFW market, you can still get on, still see what we do, and then you can purchase our training videos that we have, and you can take that information and you can implement it into your select market, and you can see exactly how we get our deals. Okay, so those are all the questions, guys. I hope I answered them in their entirety. I hope those are the answers you were looking for, right? There were a bunch of other questions that were asked, but those were the questions that I seemed to get multiple times. So I wanted to make sure that I made those the key questions to be able to answer. So if you're viewing this, I hope you found value of that. And if you're viewing this and you're seeing, hey, I want to do what Mike is doing, I want to get on this Let's Get Paid train, hey, go visit that website. Again, it's www.letsgetpaid.com. Fill out that free registration, join us on our free webinar, learn about what it is that we're doing. If you're in the DFW market, come join us. If you're not in the DFW market, purchase some of the training content that we have that I'm sure and very confident that will propel your real estate business forward. But thank you for joining. This is your favorite real estate investor, Mike Anderson. Hey, let's get paid.